"Mom, why can't I go into the basement?" That is the first thing I can remember speaking. That phrase would be repeated throughout my childhood, and every time I asked, I got the same response. "It's just not safe down there, so don't go down there." And that was that. Nothing more, nothing less. I accepted that theory in my younger years. I didn't think it was very unusual at the time. I wasn't very outgoing as a child, and many things scared me, so I had no desire to go down there when I was younger. I only ever got suspicious of what was down in that basement until I was 13. I still remember that night vividly. It was a rather normal night. I was reading a book in my bed and listening to music. Usually my mom would enter my room at about 9:30 and would tell me to go to sleep, but that didn't mean I did. Well, that night I was reading, and I realized that it was about 10:15, and my mother hadn't told me to go to sleep. That didn't stop me from reading, but after another 15 minutes or so, my mother entered my room. "Hey bud, it's time to go to bed, and no leaving your room tonight. Last night I left bed to eat a snack, and my mother still believes I was trying to sneak out." "Okay, Mom," I simply answered as I turned out the lights. "Good night, bud," my mother said as she closed the door. I had trouble falling asleep. I don't know why, but I didn't feel sleepy at all. But I soon lost all hope of sleep when I began to hear muffled screams coming from my basement. After a couple of minutes, I decided to leave the room. When I left, I realized that the basement door was open. This disturbed me so much, I ran back into my room and stayed there for the rest of the night. The next morning, I questioned my mother, but she denied everything and chalked everything up to nightmares. So that day, while my mother was at work, I picked the lock of the basement door with a paperclip and a pair of pliers. When I walked down the stairs, I found a tall creature with a disfigured face scratching the walls. I quickly ran upstairs and locked the door. A month later, my mother committed suicide. As the police searched the house, they opened the basement door and found several bodies, the most recent of which was a tall man whose face had been bashed.